to that one?
It's always hard after you lose a tough one like that in any football game. You hold yourself accountable, but you got to move on. You got to fix the mistakes. Not dwell on them. Fix them and get better. And I think not just as coaches, players got to have that same mindset. And it's over. Now we got to fix some things, obviously, but it's over. Now we're on to the next week.
You're sitting up in the box. How far did your heart sink in your stomach when you realized half of what you prepared for you couldn't use?
Yeah, we kind of and when you go into a first game, you're not sure what they're going to do. We did think they were going to be an odd, but we had a lot of meetings on, hey, what if they come out in this? What if they come out in this? And so we had another call sheet for if they come out in even. And we actually used some of those. We used those plays, and we didn't have the results that we would like to have. But we had, and the same thing with the coverages, because you don't know. It's the first game of the year; they could change. It was a new coach, so we had what we thought, our best game plan would be if they came out in this, and we had the ability to adapt. So we met on that, the whole month going in, because there's so much uncertainty going to a first game. And so, yeah, there were some specific things we had in the game plan versus that they didn't do, that we didn't use, but we had enough other stuff. And then we also, we didn't always execute it the right way, but we also tried to call plays that have answers versus multiple fronts, and that your kids know what to do, and multiple coverages. And we got to keep continuing to do that, because at the end of the day, the defense can do a whole bunch of different things, and you got to be prepared for it, and your kids got to know what they're doing, and we got to be able to execute.
How does that game need to unfold differently for you guys to use a lot of the downhill running stuff that you wanted to incorporate this year?
Well, we always want to be able to run the ball downhill, and we weren't in that game. I'll give credit to Illinois. They did a good job. Some things up front. We lost some one-on-one battles, and not just up front, but everywhere. They won some one-on-one matchups. That is part of, running the ball downhill is everyone's got to win their one-on-one matchup. So we got to get better at that. And there were times that we did a decent job, but it wasn't good enough.
In the second half, is that more at that point when you get the ball back for the first time in the third quarter, you're down 2 scores? Is it more at that point about the fact that you're trailing with 22 minutes left, or is it about you didn't really get much going in the run game early, so you're not sure you can count on it at that point?
Well, we definitely early on. That's a good question. We didn't run the ball like we'd like to, okay, and we need to run it better. In the second half, when they had the long drive, and we were down by whatever it was, 20-point limit time, it does change the way you play the game. We still thought we could run the football, okay. We still thought we could run the football, but when you're down by that many points, and you basically have a quarter left, a quarter and some minutes, you got to be a little more aggressive, and the defense knows that. And so, I guess to answer your question, yes, we got to run the ball better earlier in the game. And then number 2, the timing of what was going on in the second half, we couldn't be probably as balanced as we'd like to be.
Second to last drive, you guys started running the ball again a little bit more. What did you guys see that line of decision?
It was nothing specific. 'Cause again, we kind of made the adjustments. Because once they did come out with their plan, we said, okay, this is what we practiced. We can change it to this, and they kind of stuck with it. We just executed better, to be honest with you. We just executed better. I think we started winning a couple of those one-on-one matchups, and that was the bottom line. We didn't really do anything too much different. We just kind of executed the plays that we thought would be good in those situations.
Did you go with Ramir in that spot because of his pass catching out of the backfield, his pass pro, or what was the thinking there since he hadn't played all day?
Yeah, that was part of it. We thought, and we also thought he could maybe give us a little bit of a spark. His familiarity with the offense and pass protections, all that kind of worked into it. And then he had a good week of practice. We were going to play him more. That was kind of our anticipation of the game anyway. But based on the first half and not a lot of snaps, it kind of worked out that way.
Savion was a guy that a lot of people talk about. He had a good camp. Didn't see him on Saturday. What was the reason behind that?
Yeah, it just and not just him. At the end of the day, is at every position, you're going to play the guys that are the most consistent in practice. And not saying that he wasn't consistent, but there were other guys that were a little more consistent. And it's really that simple. It's the same thing at receiver, same thing at quarterback. It's the same thing at the offensive line. As coaches, you want to play the guys that you think give you the best chance to win in that situation. And playing time isn't just given; you got to earn it. Okay, you got to earn it. Savion's going to be a good player for us. He had a good week of practice this week, and so we've told all our guys that, from the receiver position to the running back position. We want competition. We want to play more guys, but you got to earn that as a football player.
What does consistency look like for your receivers? Like, what are you asking them to do? And
Yep.
What do you hope to see them?
Yep. The question is consistency with the receivers, play with great effort, doing things the right way, so knowing your assignment, lining up right, making the plays you have to make when the ball's coming to you, make the play, and then blocking. Those 4 things. And so whoever can do those the best on a consistent basis is going to be in the game. Now I'll say this: we need to play more receivers. That needs to be earned. And that is the plan moving forward. But at the same time, you still got to earn that. It's one thing to make a plan. The players still got to, do what they're supposed to do, so you can make that plan work. And it can't be just one thing. Whether it's running back or receiver, if you're really good at one thing, it doesn't work, because your weakness can affect the play. And so it's really being consistent in all the different phases. And each position has their own specific requirements for consistency.
Coach Ross said yesterday that he ended up.
What's up?
No, I just said one more.
Oh, okay.
Coach Ross yesterday said that he called the plays on Saturday. Was that always the plan? And then he also mentioned about collaboration. How does that collaboration piece look like? Is it game planning? Is it on game day? What is that?
Sure. Well, a big part of it, of calling a game is the week and the preparation before. As far as everyone's involved in it, the whole offensive staff, about this is the stuff that we think we can do well, that we've done well in the past, or that we think attacks that defense. And so you put on a play call sheet, then it's just kind of reacting to the situations. But really, everyone's involved into it. There is one voice, where it comes out of the one voice, but everyone's involved in play calling, and then it's just a matter of going to the situations. And you rehearse it. You rehearse it all week long, so when those specific situations come up, the call is already ready. So I really think, that the game's pretty much called before the game. When the game happens is when you just do what you've been trained to do and rehearse it, and that's when it comes out. When it's now, and again, I think in play calling too, we don't regret the preparation, and it was still some of those same situations, some of the same calls would be called. We regret sometimes the execution, and that's where we got to look at ourselves as coaches. How can we get our players to execute better? It starts with us.
Hey, last question. Teams like Fordham, do you expect them to just kind of throw the kitchen sink at you defensively? I mean, they're not physically, they're not an FBS team. Do you expect the kitchen sink?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what to expect. It's the first game for them. They did play a little bit in the spring. They did a good job, in the spring. They're a sound defense, and our guys got to understand that in this game, in this league, and in whoever we play, if we don't come out and we're not ready to play mentally and take care of the details, we're going to have problems. That's the biggest thing. But these guys they're a very sound defense. They don't give up a lot of big plays. They make you earn everything you get, and they're one of the best defenses in their league. So yeah, we'll have our work cut out for us.